Please be seated. Anthem. It's for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्तर बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाए तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय जय
It gives me immense pleasure to announce that Honorable Vice President of India is with us, rising from the humble background to be an esteemed lawmaker, and now he is with us. A warm welcome to us. I would request now Lieutenant General K.J. Singh, Executive Council Member GCTC, for his welcome speech.
Honorable respected Vice President Sir, Professor V.M. Bansal, Advisor GCTC and Chairman of NIDM, Neeru Bansal Ma'am, Executive Council Member and former Chairperson and Managing Director of National Fertilizers Limited, and dignitaries, especially from friendly foreign countries, cybersecurity professionals, students and media, and I especially address the foreign friends from the friendly foreign countries, some of whom we connected with online on the web link. So at the outset, let me welcome our Honorable Vice President and also place on record, in fact congratulate all of us, that we are at the very signature milestone in the history of GCTC. It's a signature milestone. We have had many events presided over by dignitaries, Indian and foreign, cabinet ministers, other experts, but today we are crossing a very significant threshold. The Honorable respected Vice President is with us. Please accord him a very warm welcome.
Stand and convey our greatest greetings. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You know, one research assistant was asking me at lunchtime, sir, iske baad kya bacha hai? So I said, नहीं president तो है, शायद वो भी कभी president होंगे तो we were just chatting. So, sir, the question that arises is, what is GCTC? What is this Global Counter-Terrorism Center? Sir, GCTC was set up in 2016. I call it an audacious attempt at democratizing the security dialogue. It was opening up the security dialogue to professionals, public. It's a very open, flexible, and somewhat informal kind of think tank. Yet it is very focused, and you see it from the membership of Executive Council, Advisory Board, there are hands-on professionals. We have connected with various ministries in our various seminars, roundtables, defense, home, power, finance, water resource, mighty, youth affairs, and have deliberated on wide spectrum of issues. So question can arise by ministries. We have reached out to the ministries in the government to share their perspective and give our honest feedback. And in this, we are very grateful to various ministries who have come forward and partnered with us. We have been lucky to partnering with PSUs, corporates, academia, yet I dare say it is not a captive think tank. It's not controlled by any corporate body. It does not propagate any agenda. And may I also place on record, we were the first think tank when JNU was caught up in Tukde Tukde and all those activities. We went there and held a seminar on counter-terrorism. People asked us, what is this you're doing? But we went there and we conducted a seminar. We have partnered with United Nations. Currently, we are partnering with EU. European Union is in this year partnering with us. And with various international think tanks. Today, in the proceedings, you heard a former Homeland Security Secretary of USA addressing us. And there was another one before that. During COVID, we displayed great amount of resilience, took the advice of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, and we held record-breaking number of webinars, online deliberations. And we managed to bring together Ukrainians and Russians on the same platform, Taliban and other parties on the same discussion platform. And our brand has resonated. Somebody in USA tried to register themselves on our brand. So we have found traction globally. In this, Honorable Vice President, sir, we have Aditya Tikku, his dad Vijay Tikku, and Paramita. They as a family have provided great resilience to this think tank, sir. Sir, we just finished 2 days seminar, and this is a valedictory session of that. May I assure the Honorable Vice President that we had very meaningful deliberations, sir. We covered all types of issues related to cybersecurity, defensive measures, enhancing cyber hygiene, cyber awareness, and our aim was to make everybody a cyber yoddha. That's what we aimed at, sir. And finally, sir, before I close, we would seek your continued patronage, your blessing, and that will make us go forward. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you, General KJ. I would now request our Honorable Vice President, sir, for his valedictory remarks. Thank you, sir.
Greetings to all of you, and to be amongst you all who are working in this field. I will leave the place enlightened, energized, motivated, and inspired. Professor V.M. Bansal, Advisor, GCTC, and Chairman, NDIM. Lieutenant General K.J. Singh, he was very kind to me. Let me reveal the secret of it. We are from the same school. We were in the same house.
Oh, right.
I have been his great admirer. And the way he puts things in a debate, he speaks of his spinal strength and clarity. Madam Niru Abrol, Executive Council Member GCTC, and everyone present here. And I am sure everyone present here represents beyond himself or herself. Each of you happen to be a nerve center and epicenter to propagate what you'll come to by way of conclusions. So my greetings to all of you. General Singh said, you do not have an agenda. In a sense, true, because it is taken to be stigmatic. You are serving a predetermined cause. But I can say, after having gone through your earlier two conferences, you have an agenda. The agenda is for welfare of humanity, an agenda that is in need of our contemporaneous times, an agenda that is required to be nurtured because technological challenges and opportunities are unfolding by the minute. So your agenda is wholesome, soothing, and to help the world at large, including Bharat, that has been targeted by such kind of menacing trends.
Thank you, sir.
A think tank, if we examine in global terms, is very vital. It defines the direction in which a country is going. Think tanks have emerged in the Western world, and they are 3 or 4 decades old even. Some of them are very authentic when it comes to fact, and they label themselves as think tank and fact tank. So this is so very vital. You can really catalyze the much needed development and change. It is commendable that you have deliberated various facets of cybersecurity, and this on this platform, which is nascent. Hardly 3 years, I'm told.
Yes, sir.
But then in 3 years, you have made your presence felt. Your earlier two conferences, one was keynote address by one of our neighboring countries' personality, is being debated. All I can say, you are filling a vacuum that should not have been there.
Very right.
Your think tank has come not a day too soon. I wish it gets into higher groove year by year, so that there is proper appreciation first of the situation and then its resolution. Convergence of acclaimed human resources with great exposure and experience in varied areas make this institute, this think tank, remarkable and extremely relevant. When I look at your patrons, and I know 5 of them very closely, Suresh Prabhu ji, Prabhat Kumar ji, General J.J. Singh, Dr. Shekhar Dutt, Dr. Yogendra Narayan was associated with the institution that I preside as chairman. Prakash Singh ji, as a lawyer, as a senior advocate, I have been in touch with him, a man committed to transform police by reforms. He has accessed judiciary with wholesome motivations and got outcomes that are doing all of us very good. We have Shashank ji. I had the occasion to work as part of his team about a decade ago. I know the enormous potential and talent he has. And then you have Executive Council. So I can say without fear of contradiction that this think tank has the potential to emerge as a global think tank that can help formulate policies in the area that is your focus area. Friends, to bring intelligent people together is never easy. I am not reflecting on Rajya Sabha. It has intelligent people, and it's not that every time they are not on the same page. They are on the same page on occasions. But here I find congeniality, cooperative, collaborative approach, and more important, and I was happy and delighted to share it with my team. You are in mission mode with a passion to deal with a problem. The problem is writing on the wall for all of us. Friends, economic activity defines a nation. Just imagine what was our situation. In 1989, when I was elected to Parliament, Lok Sabha, and had the good fortune to serve Bharat by being a central minister. The size of Indian economy then was smaller than the size of economies of London and Paris. Just a decade ago, we were taken as a fragile five countries on the point of economy. What a jump in a decade. From slot number 11, we are at number 5. And look at, we are marched ahead of whom? UK, France, Canada, Brazil, and it's a matter of time we'll be ahead of Japan and Germany. But then this is one indicator. We have to go to the another indicator also, an indicator of economic growth that is relatable to every individual, because our size at the moment has to be seen in the context of our demographic size. So I have no doubt that our economy is looking up, and it is looking up on account of various steps taken. We never imagined that there will be banking inclusion of 500 million people. We never thought of it. We never thought empowerment of women will take place by toilets in every household, providing water. But I'll come to the relevant issue. 500 million banking accounts, banking inclusivity, has given us a big flip. Direct transfers are taking place. We account for nearly 50% of global transactions. Security of these transactions is critical. Innovative, menacing mechanisms are being developed to see that the beneficiary is deprived of it. Because every positive technology brings in its wake something for rogue elements. These rogue elements are ever prepared. And for lack of information, for lack of dissemination, people fall easily prey to these kind of practices. But great thing about this nation is that we have moved so fast in adaptability of internet. We have users, 850 million. We have internet per capita consumption that is more than that of US and China taken together. Can you ever imagine in a country like ours that 100 million farmers thrice a year will get financial advantage from the government? That advantage, the government can take the credit, rightly so. But what is remarkable, that the farmer is prepared for it. All I am trying to suggest is that digital working is part of us now. Digital working is part of every Indian. It has formalized our economy as never before. And with this, there are challenges. Obviously, because World Bank president was here during G20. He made very important suggestion, reflection, that India's digitization is role model for the world. What India has achieved in just 6 years is normally not achievable in 4 decades. And that being so, we have to be extremely well prepared to sustain our economic growth, to see the trajectory is incremental, that people are not disheartened by onslaught of cyber crimes, so that they are not cheated. There has to be a secure mechanism, and that can be brought about when think tanks of your reputation reach out to the people through governmental mechanism, sensitizing them, disseminating the information, so that people at large and institutions engage in prevention, precaution, neutralizing that, and ultimately something which comes to the table of my fraternity, legal fraternity.
Right, sir, right.
Because
sir, right, sir.
by and large, lawyers are facilitators. But it is one area which is new even to the legal fraternity,
Very right.
to the investigating agencies. Initially, we have a great difficulty. People are not aware where to report a cyber crime, when to report a cyber attack, and then the agency is not well prepared at all levels, because these crimes can take place in every nook and corner of the country, and the source may be much beyond our geographical borders. So the police system, the investigator, the regulator, the legal fraternity, all have to converge on one page. And in that context, you will have to work very hard, because disruptive technologies have come to stay. They'll be with us. They are in our home space. They are in our work space. They have defined the way we will act. These technologies have got into driver's seat. Now these challenges have to be converted by us as opportunities. Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, blockchain, machine learning, for many would be words. If you look at these words and expressions in the lexicon, they make no sense. But it was an eye-opener for me when we had the occasion to see a presentation by the department, what enormous potential it has. Because the area in which the think tank is focusing at the moment is an area not limited to just economics, not just to the aspects of business or individual persons. It is relatable also to the security of the nation. And therefore, updating the system with these disruptive technologies to unleash their positive energy, to avail them as opportunities, is something we have to do. I had the occasion to participate in a think tank that primarily focused on security. War is beyond conventional mechanism now. War is beyond land, space, and sea. War has taken different dimensions, and how prepared a nation is in these technologies will define the prowess of the nation. Soft diplomatic power, the cutting edge of diplomacy, is primarily premised these days on your strength in these technologies. I am delighted to share with you that our Bharat, home to 1/6 of humanity, is amongst single-digit countries that are focusing on quantum computing. We are focusing on commercialization of 6G. That being the situation, the think tank must get additional branch of industry and academic institutions. If India was a powerhouse long back, centuries ago, Nalanda, Takshila defined it. India was a powerful country in business, thanks to institutions of global repute. Knowledge and wisdom was there. Our institutions have to rise, and they can now take lead by being in the front league when it comes to imparting education, training in disruptive technologies. I have no doubt this think tank will certainly go a long way in facilitating this development. Technology absorption in our country, people thought from a distance, was difficult. Language, region, lack of education, villages. The world is stunned and surprised that technology is being used at the village level in a massive manner and delivery of services. They are availing it. The long queues that dotted our times.
Very right, sir. Right.
People had to take leave for getting rid of their electricity bill, water bill. The process of passport was difficult on account of such situations. All that has been brought about seamlessly, effortlessly. If a person in a village does not know it, his neighbor's son would know it. So we have, which means increasingly, organically, technology is becoming a password, a budge with the ordinary man. He relishes his transactions being digital. That being so, we have to be extremely alert to ensure that challenges for the common man are not there. The nature of cyber crimes, the way things are taking place, is on account of ignorance of the people. Banking institutions, day in and day out, suggest don't share your data, don't share your information. But people in the villages in particular are lured by an offer that is very difficult to resist. Getting a message, your loan is ready. You can get it in 24 hours. You have to give this information. And they give it. We had long back a mechanism, and we said lasted for long,
Yes, sir.
that someone would go into a village, get the gold, and the honey trap was,
Yeah.
it will be doubled.
Yeah.
I saw it in 60s. As member of parliament, I faced it in 90s. Even now it happens. In proportion, sharing of data is taking place. It is liable to be misused. It can be ruinous in the growth trajectory of an individual. It makes a category vulnerable. And therefore, a think tank like this can and should, according to me, have modules that can enlighten the people at large. I had the occasion to reflect in Indian Institute of Public Administration that we must use the office of district magistrate for such kind of things. A district magistrate is a nerve center and evokes great respect in the district. When it comes to discipline, when it comes to, let's say, tree plantation, his action matters. Same is about this, and I'm sure that will happen. Now, we are having this need in every establishment. You will find with every mobile phone, security features getting enhanced. The look is the same, enhanced. You will find every establishment, particularly in the service sector, where they have a lot of data. The data is protected, preserved. We find day in and day out the cyber attack is taking place in defense installations all over the globe. Now, the world has to be prepared for it. This can happen when there is convergence of nations, of institutions at a global level, and of institutions within the country. Time has come when we need to inspire and motivate our corporates and academia. Our institutions of eminence must be innovative. They should engage in research and development. They must come out with a mechanism which may make your system as close to impregnability as possible. We now can be ahead of other nations. We earlier had a huge technological gap. What was available in the West used to come to us after decades. We never thought we will be originator of it. We thought it is intellectual property, their domain, we will get the benefit of it. How much benefit we get will be decided by them. At what cost we get will be determined by them. Not any longer. There are several areas in which we are ahead of others. And the way our country is rising, the rise is exponential, phenomenal, unstoppable. We have decided for ourselves 2047, when we have centennial celebration of our independence, Bharat will be a developed nation. This marathon march is on way. Everyone has to contribute. But derailment can take place when we are not prepared for such kind of crimes, such kind of incursions. Therefore, cybersecurity is all important. I compare cybersecurity to the rail tracks. If a single rail track goes wrong, we have accidents. Therefore, right now, people at large become aware of the situation after being victim. The purpose of the think tank has to be that such a situation does not arise. If it arises, it should not have cascading impact. It must be contained. The neutralization should take place soon. Machine learning is a mechanism that can be extremely helpful because these days narratives are set at float to destabilize nations, to taint, tarnish, demean our institutions. We have seen them. They originate from within the country and outside. Now, how do we do it? Sometimes a narrative goes, fake news. There's no way out how to deal with it. People have to prepare for it. Machine learning is a mechanism out which can deal with it. This is integrated in the rise of economy because democracy and strategic defense is best prepared when the nation is on economic upsurge. And when we are strong enough, that is a guarantee for peace. Peace is from a position of strength. Our country at the moment is having a reputation globally which it never had. But that will be sustained and it will go up when in this area also we outperform other nations and are in a position to handhold other nations in the same pattern as we did during COVID. A nation then of 1.3 billion people was battling COVID, and at the same time we had helped 100 countries co-vaccine method. Several global leaders have appreciated this gesture and so communicated to me on my visits abroad or when they call on me. So we can handhold several nations. World Bank observation was eye-opener that India's digital program, the depth of its digitization, the speed at which it is taking place, the penetration it is having up to the grassroots, is a role model to be adopted globally. The government of India has recognized its critical importance. As I indicated, it is focusing on how to address challenges of the technologies and how to ensure that their energy is unleashed affirmatively and for the growth of the nation. Cybersecurity is being taken note of. Several measures have been initiated by the government by way of groups and legislation. It has implemented a range of measures to fortify our digital defenses. Initiatives such as the National Cybersecurity Policy, the establishment of the Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, and changes in the Information Technology Act 2000, National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center, Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023, and promotion of public-private partnerships, and these are pivotal. The changes effected in the Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023 are game changer. But people have to know about it. Right now, by and large, people in the villages think, what is there to protect about data? They have to be sensitized that your data, your PAN card, your bank account, your password is beyond confidential transaction. It has to be only with you and no one else. Now the kind of technology we are having, the challenges are geometric, and therefore the relevance of a think tank like this is inescapable. I indicated earlier, we need a multi-stakeholder, multi-dimensional approach coupled with global cooperation to ensure cybersecurity. Industry, academia, government, professional bodies, civil NGOs, international organizations all must come together to combat this menace. And for this, I urge all of you, once in a year conference of this nature is important but not sufficient. You have to secure as your partners, media, academia, parliamentarians. I would be happy to facilitate that the core group of this think tank interacts with members of Rajya Sabha. And I have no doubt it will be enlightening to them. Because Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha is a platform from where if you speak out something of larger public interest, it resonates very extensively and it reaches out to every nook and corner of the country and beyond. Friends, the need which is being felt by all of you, we are working in that direction, and the need is to promote a culture of cybersecurity leadership and equip such leadership that is focused to combat evolving cyber attacks. You will find in conventional investigational matters, SIT is formed, SOG is there.
Sure.
We need this in cyber matters, cyber crimes. An individual who has suffered a cyber attack, has faced cyber situation that has really made him dysfunctional, exploited his vulnerability, may not be enabled to take it to logical conclusion. He may be drained out of all his finances and he might give up. Therefore, there is need for legal aid in cyber kind of situations to enable the individual, and that I think will go a long way in first emboldening the people to come forward, and secondly, the national morale will go up with respect to such kind of crimes. Friends, this calls for human resource empowerment in strategic and technical domain. I have had the occasion to go to several institutions, IITs, IIMs, ISRO, science institutions, institutions of national importance. Now, my discourse to them is very different than discourse in general, because each of the persons there, as faculty and students, they are thinking out of the box. They are innovative. Therefore, I strongly urge you that in this field, if there is an idea that has occurred to you, please don't permit that idea to be parked in your brain. That must be implemented. Gone are the days when we used to look up to the world in the West, they will take the lead. The West is looking at us because genius of our human resource has been established beyond any doubt. Look at how world corporates and institutions are being led by human genius of this nation. Premier educational institutions, in concert with government institutions like Niti Aayog, think tanks like you, must devise courses so that the students can be innovative. Our problem at the moment is, and that is also on account of lack of information, students are in silos. They work in overdrive for competitive examinations. And if they do not get through, they are visited with frustration. This is being done because they are not aware the opportunities, the new vistas, they are available in this field. Enormous. I was reflecting, power has been his sector. Just imagine green hydrogen mission. The government of India has already allocated 18,000 crores. By 2030, we will have 8 lakh jobs and investment of
Huge investment, several
8
hundred-
lakh thousand. So just imagine. If you talk of space, I was amazed. I made 3 trips to ISRO, talked to their faculty. None of them was coming from
Yeah.
educational institutions we look up to.
Yes.
Our boys and girls are preparing day in and day out for IITs, IIMs. I'm not suggesting don't go there. We need to go there. But we must look at the options also.
Right.
None of them. And they have made the most of it.
Yes. Yeah.
Talent certification does not depend on degree. Knowledge is not in captivity. You have to unleash it. And one way to unleash is you must know what your attitude is, what your aptitude is. Look at India's seesaw, blue economy. You have to make much of it. Even in a field of yoga, enormous global potential is there for us. We are exploiting it. Friends, it has to be dealt with like a plateau. It can't be pyramidal. It cannot be of a situation that you get cutting edge in one area, investigation, or cutting edge in one area, regulations, or cutting edge in one area of awareness. All facets have to be identified and their rise has to be like plateau. What is outstanding about India's progress which people don't notice and they become critical? That is, the village today has what? Toilets, every house. Did we ever imagine? The very thought itself was mind-boggling. Cooking gas. When I was a member of parliament had great indulgence of 50 gas connections. And now just imagine, 115 million or so gas connections have been given free to the needy. Affordable housing. These are plateau kind of things. If we have taken lead to empower our women, women-led development, getting the representation in Parliament, Lok Sabha and state assemblies. India, friends, is today defining what is woman empowerment, what is woman-led empowerment. We saw it on Kartavya Path last Republic Day.
Yeah.
Meaning thereby, you have to see great point in what IMF said. India is a land of opportunity and investment. I have said quite often, we cannot correlate political developments with our growth trajectory. Political journey, be it of the nation or of a party, will get headwind, will get air pockets. But once you have a government in place, it is secure and certain that the growth trajectory will gallop. I have no doubt, given the enormous talent of our parliamentarians, commitment of the state governments, the urge of every state government to look up for development, and the visionary leadership of the government and the Prime Minister, these 5 years will show to the entire world that the century belongs to Bharat. Friends, terrorism has bled us on occasions. We had to take tough measures. Our agencies are working very hard. The results are for all to see, including Article 370 not being in the Constitution, an article that was temporary article of the Constitution, the only article that was temporary, not there. But cyber security is all important also for terrorism. We have seen how agitations are sustained. How from various epicenters on the globe to destabilize the nation. And therefore, we have to be vigilant. Every individual has to be vigilant. And this makes emphasis on cyber security all the more important, critically important, an area which is all important because it can spoil your pudding. And therefore, we must focus 100% on it. Friends, aiming to become Vishwa Bandhu, and why not? Centuries ago, we were Vishwa Guru. We have believed in a civilizational culture of Vasudev Kutumbakam. That was the theme of our G20 also. In G20, we recorded a huge success because visionary leadership of the country secured African Union as a member of G20. We became, for the first time, the thing happened, voice of Global South. Look at those countries, look at their GDP. And therefore, I would urge, we must build cyber capacity building in the Global South that will promote a secure and inclusive cyberspace for sustainable development. Development is vital, but sustainable development is soothing, wholesome, relieves pain of everyone. India stands in the world for peace, for stability, for harmony. The world presently is dotted by significant conflagrations that are adversely impacting supply chains and having deleterious economic impact. But stand of Bharat projected by the Honorable Prime Minister, peace has to be secured not by war, but by dialogue, by diplomacy. Friends, Bharat has been leading voice for international cooperation in several issues, both technical as well as policy related in cyberspace. Now these need to be addressed in a predictable manner because we can't otherwise handle it. I'll give a small illustration. Last month I had the occasion to go to border in Badmer, the post. It was when the sun was at peak. The time I chose was with a rational approach. I must go there so that people come to know I'm going there at this hour. I found everyone was alert, challenging environment. We had fencing. Camels were moving. Our people were alert. There was no one on the other side. They don't need to be, because we will never cross it. But they may do it suddenly, which means we have to be prepared 24/7. Our left for 1 hour, they can capitalize. The same is with greater intensity on cybercrime. It will catch you when you are not aware of it, unawares. Bharat aspires, as I said, to be a Viksit nation by 2047, and you all are vital stakeholders because cybersecurity is a factor that cannot be ignored. The advantages of a secure digital environment is that it fosters innovation, attracts investment, and facilitates seamless economic growth and activity. I am sure the ignited and enlightened minds in this conference will deliberate holistically to reach conclusions which can be executed on ground beyond the conference. It has to be ongoing exercise. You can choose your platforms, and ultimately, if you find that some suggestions have to be made, which need to be taken note of by parliamentarians, you can take me to be your part in this venture. As we stand on the cusp of a new digital era, and why new digital era? We are virtually in fourth industrial revolution. The change is so pronounced. Let us commit to making India not just digital superpower, but a cyber secure one. Our journey towards a secure digital future is a collective endeavor. Let us work, friends, in togetherness to create a digital India that is innovative, inclusive, and above all secure. I commend the organizers of 3rd GCTC Cybersecurity Conference for providing a valuable platform to deliberate on these critical issues, to engage in brainstorming and find resolutions. Let us use this opportunity to exchange ideas, share best practices, and strengthen our collective resolve to build a secure digital future. I am grateful for this opportunity, and I am sure we will be having frequently such meetings, maybe in small groups. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem. National anthem.
Jana Gana Mana Adhinayaka Shema